Hello, Booktube, and welcome back. Sorry, I've got something in my mouth. I've been eating a mince pie, more than that in a minute. So it's December, and it's getting towards Christmas. So I'm going to make a bit of a mismatch of a video right now, because just give you a bit of an update on what I'm planning to read in this month, because I'm not 100% sure if there's any Booktube events going on in December. There's probably millions of them, but I have no idea. I think I'm just going to relax though, because last month I read quite a few. What did I do last month? It's only been 2 days. Oh, espionage and spy books last month in Dr. November. But this time around, I'm not going to do any Booktube events. I don't think. I'm just going to relax myself and just read what I want to read, man. And the books I'll probably pick are going to be light reading, light books. I don't want nothing heavy for this time of the year. No war books, Alex. No war books. No depressing stuff. Just plain nice books. Oh, talking about the festive season. One of my subscribers, Kathy. Hello, Kathy. She doesn't know what a mince pie is. That is criminal. I thought these little guys were international. I know that everybody in the UK would know what a mince pie is. I'm pretty sure across the continent, you guys will have your own varieties of mince pie. No, it's not beef mince. It's called mince meat, but there's no animals in these. Well, might be some enzymes, I don't know, but there's no actual meat in these pies. It's a dessert. It's like a little tart. So I've been chomping on it before I've recorded myself, so you can see the insides of it. These are cheap. These are just over the road. You can get about 6 of them in the UK for about £1.50 for the cheap ones, or $2 for you Americans. And it's basically a shortcut crust pastry, bit of sugar on top, and like a secret blend of goodness in the middle. It's like dried sultans and raisins. You can put a bit of brandy in there. You can mess around with these. You can put some flavors in there, what you like. All sorts of Christmas spices are in there, and I absolutely adore these. I can eat. As anybody like me, if the box is completely unopened, it can stay unopened for months on end. But as soon as you open the box and just have one of them, within 34 minutes, every single one of them will be eaten. That's what I'm like with mince pies. I absolutely adore mince pies. I reckon 8 out of 10 people in the UK love mince pies, and the other 2 people in the UK are just plain wrong, and we need to gather them up and arrest them. Because mince pies are fantastic. UK, send me your mince pies. I absolutely love me some mince pies. So no mince meat in these. Well, technically it's called mince meat, but there's no beef or pork or chicken or duck or kangaroo in these. It's purely sultanas, raisins, blended together in a sugary, delicious. Oh, I love them. And maybe a splash of brandy or some scotch in there. Fantastic. Oh, hang on. Since we're talking about food, Americans, right? I've been looking at some of your pictures for Thanksgiving dinner. I know you have all the usual stuff you expect on a roast dinner. You have turkey, you have stuffing, you have green beans, mashed potato, whatever, mac and cheese. What's going on there? You're in the UK, we usually have our Sunday roast. You've never put macaroni and cheese on a Sunday roast. That is definitely a bit of Americana for you there. But that's not what I've got my issues with. Some people have been sharing. I don't know how widespread this is across the States, but I've seen enough of them to make me think that it is quite cosmopolitan over there. It's, from what I can gather, this is like a sweet potato mash with toasted marshmallows on top. What? You absolute food degenerates. What are you eating there? Marshmallow with sweet potato mash? To me, that just combination just wrecks my head. I don't know how you can, and this is a British person complaining. I mean, our food's not the greatest, like, but marshmallow and sweet potato mash. What is going on there? What is your issue? Anyway, I haven't even started talking about books yet, have I? So, let's start. Again, I told you, this is a bit of a mismatch. I'm going to be all over the place here because I've really got my thoughts in order. So I've picked up, I showed you last time, I think, didn't I, a couple of new books because I got a voucher. Because I don't buy physical books anymore. I prefer electronic reader by a long way. But one of them was, if you remember, if you've seen that video, is the second of the God, what's it called? The Second Tales of Witness. This is a sequel to the Malazan Book of the Fallen. They're up here, the Malazan Book of the Fallen, and I enjoyed the first book, which is The God Is Not Willing. See, all my books are just all over the place. You can't see them; it's really down there. And I enjoyed God, and so I enjoyed, what's it called again? I enjoyed The God Is Not Willing, and that's what I'm currently rereading right now, and it's enjoyable. I do like me some Stephen Erickson. It's very much a kind of like a military high fantasy. A lot of people struggle to get into the Malazan Book of the Fallen, especially the first book, which is like trying to get over Mount Everest before you can get, started with the rest of the books. It's proper in your face kind of fantasy. Pardon me, hang on. But once you've got past Garden of Moons, Dead House Gates is the second one. I love Dead House Gates, and it's to the finishing line there. I do love them. But it's one of those fantasy series with it's a cast of thousands, and there's millions of different subplots in there, and there's all sorts going on. But it's up my street. I do really enjoy the Malazan book. So after I've done my reread of The God Is Not Willing, I'm going to start No Life Forsaken, which I think is the defense of Gdanispan. Is that how you pronounce it? Or is it just Danisban? I'm not sure. Which is like the Malazans, is like the Empire, and they're kind of weak and they're going to get attacked. So I'm going to get that a whirl, see what it's like, see if it's like as much as the first book. I was going to read as well the other book, what I got, which is the book 9 of The Expanse. Can you see the rest of them? I'll get the rest of them up there. There you go. And this is book 9, and the 5 and 4. So it's basically mankind's last grasp. See if they can win the big battle, basically. But what I want to do is reread the last 8, just to refresh my memory. I was like, there's no way I'm going to read all 8 science fiction books and then read that in December. So I'm going to leave that till January. I think that's what I'm going to do. So a couple of the non-fiction books that I've got, which I'm going to read, is the new biography of Mark Twain. This is by Ron Chernow. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. He did a really good book on Alexander Hamilton, his biography, and it was fantastic. It's a really good biography of Alexander Hamilton. But he's an excellent biographer as well. So hopefully, because I do like Mark Twain's books, and I've got a feeling that I might like Mark Twain himself, but who knows? So I'm really looking forward to reading a biography of Mark Twain. What other things am I reading here? What did I what did I say right at the start of this video? I'm going to take it easy. That's what I said. It's the festive period, I'm going to get into the niceties of it, not read anything depressing. So what I'm going to read is Murderland, Crime and Bloodlust in the Time of Serial Killers. A nice Christmas non-fiction book for me to devour. And what I can glimpse from this book is like it's a kind of biography or case history of some of America's biggest serial killers. I mean, Ted Bundy is on the front. Do you know what? I'm not even sure if it's international or not, but it's definitely Ted Bundy because he's on the front cover. So, I'm just looking to see if. Oh, I think it is just about Bundy himself rather than a prolific one about many serial killers. Yeah, it's just about Ted Bundy by the looks of it. So, I've got that on a Kindle. Oh, I'm just going to read nice books. Yeah, I like crime, true crime, non-fiction books. I really do. I'm trying to figure the right way. Trepidation, maybe. Unease is probably the best way to explain. Sometimes me going into these books and like, it actually happened to people. How these people were murdered. You get that gut feeling like, oh, those poor people. But yep, I'm going to read about Ted Bundy over the festive season. What else have I got here? I've got I bought something about computers. I can't remember which one it was. I'm also going to read Empire of AI. So as we all know, AI now is starting to take over the world. Soon enough, we'll all be on our hands and knees to the gods and goddesses of AI as they rule above us, like in Terminator. So I'm not sure how much of a negative slant this book is going to picture AI, as humanity's pretty much starting to lose the grasp of AI at the moment, runaway madness. But I'm looking forward to the book because I've read very few books about AI, only because I find the topic quite intimidating, to be honest with you. I remember I read a book about just computer science and, dumb it down for me, Charlie. But yeah, so I'm going to read, who was that by? Sorry. So it's Empire of AI by Karen Howe, I believe, Hao. So I'm going to read that. I'm going to give it a whirl, see if I can understand it. Hopefully I do. What was the other one I've also bought? I went a bit of a spending spree on my Kindle the other day. I have bought a book called 1929, again, festive season, Inside the Greatest Crash in Wall Street History. I don't know whether I'm just sick in the head, this should be quite festive, the biggest crash in American history in 1929. But apparently it's supposed to be good, and that's the reason why I bought it. And it was on sale, Black Friday weekend. I've got quite a few books in that sale, and that was one of them. I think it was published this year. Oh, sorry, who was it by? It's been published this year. It was by Andrew Ross Sorkin. So I'm going to attempt to read those non-fiction books. I told you I'm currently reading the God Is Not Willing, the fantasy book, but I'm also reading Breakneck, which is a kind of look of how China is now trying to be the engine of the future, and how it's bypassing America, who was the engine in the future, but not so much anymore. The infrastructure is not there anymore compared to what China's been able to do. But it's also given the pros and cons of how China's delivering the future compared to the rest of the country, because they're quite off, quite in your face, aren't they, the Chinese government? So I'm reading Breakneck. It's quite good right now. Again, it's only a small non-fiction book. I think it's about 200 to 300 pages, or something like that. And after I've finished those two books, I'll probably read another Sharp book. Well, hang on. It's because I chomped that mince pie before. Got it stuck in the back of my throat. So, Sharp series, you don't know. I think I'm on the third book now. Sharp is, it's best known in the UK as a TV series that came out in the 90s to 2008 by Bernard Cornwell. It's about a soldier in the British Army called Sharp, who's a bit of a jack the lad, a bit of a working class soldier, and I think all the books are going to be a variation on theme as, you know, sharp, save the day, that kind of historical fiction, not much, you know, not too in depth, you know, surface level stuff, but again, hugely readable. And yeah, so I'll probably pick that up next. And I want a good, if anybody's watching this video and got to this point, and with another caveat, can suggest to me a good Star Wars book, it would be helpful to say the least. I've read quite a few now. I've read the new Jedi Order series, which I thought was a bit meta woeful. I've read Shadows of the Empire, which is meh. I've read The Black Fleet, I think that was just called. That was awful. I read the Timothy Zahn original trilogy about Thrawn. That was okay. It's probably the best that I've read. I read Kenobi, which was, I thought was okay. That's the one which is, you know, lauded absolutely everywhere. And I've read all ones as well set in the, you know, the Clone Wars. I can't remember the names off the top of my head. No, I can't. But and can you suggest a good Star Wars book? Because boy, am I struggling. I think Star Trek books are better. I'm probably equally as fan of Star Wars I am with Star Trek, and I find Star Trek literature better, good literature, than Star Wars books. Star Wars books for me has failed miserably. What else do I want to read? There's something. Oh, I think, but I'm not 100% sure that the latest of the Harry Dresden files have come out. That's a fantasy series. It's like a supernatural wizard detective, Harry Dresden, set in Chicago. And he fights all sorts of, you know, evil gods and demons and vampires with the Chicago police. I think it's hugely enjoyable. You need to get over the first 3 or 4 books, and then it hits its stride. Then I think it's a really good series, and the series ended in a big battle in the latest book. So I think the new one is out, and I might pick that up as well, because if I like the second book of the Malazan sequel trilogy, I'll probably be in the mood to read another fantasy novel. And I think that's it, folks, for what I can think of my head to say. And I'll speak to you soon. Bye, Booktube.